Hi, my name is Jeff Sipe and I have over 10 years of recruiting experience, including 5 years at Google. In this video, I really want to focus on recruiters and specifically recruiter follow-up. Um, there's a lot of ways that recruiters can create a little bit better relationships, and this has been coming up a lot with clients and some of my LinkedIn connections about not hearing back from recruiters, and it's a really important topic. And I think it's also important for candidates. So please stick with me, hang in there till the end of the video, because having this context on how recruiters can work better with you, I think it's important to understand it from both sides. And so step one is all about creating a follow-up system. And specifically, I want to focus on email and ATS. And so in your email, it's either creating a candidate follow-up folder, a general follow-up folder, starring emails, whatever methodology is going to work to really bucket those candidate emails in one place that come in on a daily basis. And then the second item is creating some sort of methodology in your ATS. And that could be as simple as going through all active candidates at the end of each day. But if you are able to add in a calendar item for follow-ups, add some notes into each profile. I know on my last system I could do both with the calendar and the notes, and it really helped me stay organized. But a good system with your email and a good system with your ATS, that level of organization will really help you with the follow-up piece. And step two, that's a great segue into use your calendar. I know that this is going to sound maybe a little crazy, but block off time on a daily basis just for follow-ups. So if you believe you can do it really quickly, block off 15 minutes at the end of your day. If you think it might take a little longer, block off up to an hour on your calendar. And that should be a block of time from maybe 4 to 5 p.m. every day. And then you move it around. You might be leaving at 3 p.m. one day to go to a baseball game, whereas another day you know you have a late day and you're going to be staying till 8 o'clock. Just have it in the calendar every day and move it around appropriately. And just make sure you don't leave for the day without doing those follow-ups. And having it in your calendar, it's just a great reminder to follow up. And then secondly, whenever you're scheduling a follow-up with a candidate, if you're going to schedule a specific time or you're following up via email, I always found it really helpful to complete that action. So actually set the calendar event and then hang up the phone, or set the calendar event and then finally hit send. Because if you go through that step of completion, you will never miss these follow-ups. Step three, and one of my favorite steps, is NUU. NUU stands for No Update Update. Now, of course, candidates are always going to want to have specificity when it comes to updates, but the reality is a lot of times as a recruiter, you just don't have any additional information, or you're still waiting on interview feedback, or you're still waiting to hear back from the hiring manager. And so I would regularly calendar in NUUs, and specifically I would do it on Tuesdays and Fridays, right? And I'm still following that methodology today. So anybody who's in process, they're just going to get a no update update if I don't have any updates. And this sounds kind of silly, but it's really, really important, because the no update update means yes, you are aware of them, and yes, they're hearing back from you. And so it could be a simple canned response, and a simple canned response could be, Sue, I'm still waiting for interview feedback. I will keep you updated on next steps. Have a great day. Thanks, Jeff. And it's really that simple. That inserting Sue's name, it takes 3 seconds to respond and hit send. And what it does for a candidate and their just this positive mental place that they'll be in with you is, it's just unbelievable how important it is. So if you follow the step of doing NUUs, instead of just taking the time to think about crafting what should you say and how should you get back to them, just get back to them quickly and say, hey, I don't have any updates, I'll keep you updated. And that will really do a lot for candidate experience and how they feel about you and the brand of the organization. I love this step, really utilize this step. And lastly, with the NUU, the Friday follow-up, getting back to that, no candidate that's in process will not hear from me on a Friday. It's just so paramount that candidates don't go into the weekend in this state of not knowing what's happening. Just always do the Friday NUU. It will change your life in terms of candidate experience and how they respond to you. Step 4, out of office / backup person. So even when you're going to be out of the office for a half day at a training, which happens a lot, right? Just put your out of office on. Now, if you're going to be out of office for more than 2 or 3 days, you need to have a backup person. Just the reality of the amount of candidates you have in process, you always have to build in that backup person, and you might be the only recruiter at your organization, but just make sure that even if that backup person has to be your boss, that you're really setting the tone. Hey, if it's urgent, you can reach out to Jane and let her know what's going on. But having that backup person just makes your candidates feel really comfortable, and having the out of office shows, hey, you're on top of it and you're aware that when you go out of the office, it might impact them. And then another pro tip would just be, hey, if you're leaving for an extended vacation, and again, this is anything more than a few days, I would just send a message out to any candidates that are active in the process. Hey, I'm going to be out for the next week. Here's my backup person. If anything urgent comes through, please reach out to them, because you really should be unwinding and not checking work while you're on vacation. Step 5, and the last step, is share preferences. So when it comes to follow-up, candidates don't always know the best way to get in touch with you. And if you don't want to spend all your time in your email, which recruiters do a lot, say, hey, if it's urgent, call me, leave me a voicemail, and send me a follow-up text, or whatever methodology is going to work for you. But just make sure that you've shared your preferences, because then they'll know how to get in touch with you, and they'll know, okay, it is okay to call, or it is okay to text, or you prefer email only. If you share those preferences, you're just going to up the level of communication and how they end up feeling about you. This is just one example of how I might tackle it, but sharing preferences is great. And by the way, you should be getting your candidates' preferences for how you should be getting in touch with them as well. These tips are pretty basic, but based on recent feedback that I've received, I just felt like it was really timely to do one of these videos. And as a candidate, just remember understanding this part of the process and then asking great questions like, who's your backup? Am I going to find out when you're out of office? How often can I expect to hear back from you? It's cyclical, and that's going to make sure everybody has a much better experience. I hope this video helps. Thanks so much.